A lot of people have been asking me, how do I play Bitcoin?
Well, listen, this business partner of mine called, he's got a great plan. This is the man who's going to make us rich.
This is the man?
Yes.
This man lives in a cardboard box.
I'm speaking facts, I tell the truth. It's about my dough and we gon' shoot. I'm so relaxed up in that coop. 100 niggas in the truth.
What's up, everybody? So it was probably a little random yesterday that a video posted to my channel that I haven't posted to in like, what, 3 years? Right now, I'm not playing Summoner's War anymore, but I am making videos about stocks. So a lot of you guys used to ask me when I gamed, you know, how did I make money? This was one of the primary ways I used to make a lot of money. In fact, I've been trading since I was about 8 years old. I learned in my early 20s, I learned technical analysis. I learned pretty much all the underground tricks. So it is a very complex subject. And most people lose their, like, you lose a lot of money if you don't know what you're doing. My hopes of this channel is to kind of make it easy and fun, right? Because it is fun. And I've got a whole group of people. We're on a GroupMe. So if anyone's interested and wants to join us and chat during the day, you know, I still have my business. In fact, last year was our best year yet. We're gonna be going over it. Don't worry, we're still gonna have some fun.
Crabs is sewage proof and depression proof. We're going to sell these on the street. We're crab people now. Crab.
We're crab people now?
Yes.
You want us to become crab people? That's your new business plan?
What's up, everybody? All right, so we're gonna do another market recap today. And really, instead of me really explaining a lot of technical analysis type stuff, I'm gonna leave that to the videos moving forward that I make on the subject. So, you know, I'm gonna focus more on the predictive power of swing trading and chart analysis in general, which is really what this is good for. Intermediate trend trading is really what this type of charting is good for. So, jumping right on in. SPY, this is my fundamental gauge of the markets. Now, if you want to look on a day chart, I'll start at the 15-minute. Right away, that looks ugly. That does not look good. That looks very bad. Okay, so to explain a couple of things, this is a gap downside. So even though, you know, this got all the way bought up, I'm still seeing continued downside. Now, this is on the weekly. If you want to know where this is going, so if we want to know where the S&P is going, I see the first real resistance. Let me remove some of these lines here. If we're in full-on correction, it looks like it's 367. And that's using what I call a Fibonacci retracement. Whew. 352. Oof. So that's, I mean, you do have a line here, right? This was the previous, and there's one real big channel that's still got to get broken. So really, the big resistance here is going to come at the form of this. This is the channel. We call this the channel since the drop. This is the previous trajectory. Okay, and this is after the coronavirus. This was the new trajectory. Do you see how this is a much more heightened trajectory compared to this? In my opinion, this is unsustainable long term. The current trajectory is unsustainable. We'll connect the next lowest low. You can do the same thing with the highest high. So this is the channel, but the real channel, if you want a more perfect fit, is right about here. See how that fits a number of highs. All right, so where's this going? Well, technically it can go pretty low. It can actually go all the way down here. Now this is what happens a lot. Is you see these things drop and they go all the way down, and then everybody thinks it's a crash market, right? So everybody then gets short of the channel, and what happens? This big rebound. So, but there's a lot of meat. We are now, this is a play right here. You can short the market. I would say it's probably, this line has to be broken though. This is the big one. If you break this, you're going to here. Okay, so this is like a little mini channel that we've been in since November. This is little mini channel. Once this channel, and you'll have to break it on volume, which look at this right here. There's no way this channel holds up. Let's look at this on a, yeah, you can see the lines coming in right here. Yeah, we're going lower. Odds are we're going lower. And that's really what this is. This is statistical chart analysis. The experienced charter can put it in a frame of odds. I would bet that we're going lower. You can usually tell with candlesticks if you know what you're looking at. Candlesticks actually will tell you more than most. And it's an ancient art. The thing is the volume. When you start seeing a lot of big volume, look, we got a big correction here, right? And when did we see a lot of sell volume? Now this is like, the peak on this is even bigger than this one. So the potential to go down to this channel at the bottom of the channel straight up. Now we're getting more fall off. I would expect big volume on Monday through this. Or we could rebound. We could rebound. But this is an inflection point. This is kind of how you map inflection points. How big of an inflection point is this? Not very big. It's not a very wide channel. I think we're going lower. And that's based on this kind of volume. If we didn't have this heavy of sell volume, I would expect a bounce right here. But I think, it could turn around though. And if you're looking at this on an intermediate trend basis, you're coming down from the top of the RSI, which means you got plenty of room to fall. And you haven't fallen in a straight year. Like the markets have gone up for a straight year. Plus, you now have a ton of, and this is how I know, because I got a ton of guys who don't know what they're doing asking me about the market. So that, to me, is always a signal that the market's about to tank. Anytime my friends that never trade come and ask me about trading, I know the market's going to tank. Chart of the day. All right, so I want to talk about Bitcoin today. I have been a big Bitcoin fan, and what we're seeing with Bitcoin right now is healthy. It's a very healthy move. It was very expected. It was a very expected healthy move. A lot of people have been asking me, how do I play Bitcoin? This is how you play Bitcoin. You don't buy a lump. You don't try and time it. Sign up for Coinbase, sign up for Robinhood, whatever, and every paycheck buy like $50 worth and thank me in 3 years. That's how you play Bitcoin. Buy $100 worth, whatever you can afford. Set it on auto. Don't look at the price. Just have it continually buying as the price is gonna bounce around. It's gonna bounce around, but it's going much, much higher. Bitcoin is going a lot higher. So we are now in a full retracement. This is a full retracement right now, and I would never buy into something with. You never buy in technical analysis. You never buy a down market because you don't know where the bounce is going to happen. So we call that trying to catch a falling knife. You never try and catch a falling knife because you're going to get cut. And in the markets, it's losing your money. All right, so let's kind of look. So I have two positions in Bitcoin. I have a long-term position that is in my vault that is never getting sold, at least in the near term. And then I have a position I've been swing trading and I've made a considerable amount of money on Bitcoin this year swing trading this because this is a really easy. Bitcoin follows technical analysis fundamentals better than most stocks. I mean, it's phenomenal. So we've had a lot of good day trades this year on the GroupMe, but a lot of people now, I've got like my brothers asking me, what do I buy? Well, look at Bitcoin. Right? Bitcoin's going lower. I can promise you this. Bitcoin is still in a sustained fall. And you're pierced this line here. So I would definitely expect a retest of 43. I would definitely expect that. Do I think it's looking weak? This looks really, really weak. In fact, this is your down channel now. So this thing's going, and these are your levels. I mean, this can go all the way down to 29,000 and technically still be in an uptrend. And that's really what to think about on these corrections. This is your, if you want to look at your long-term uptrend line. Oof. Yeah, that's coming down. I mean, look, that's the same as Tesla. That's a parabolic move. Parabolic moves don't last. Will Bitcoin be this high again? Almost certainly. Most certainly. And I'm going to make a video explaining why. But Bitcoin's going a lot higher. It's going to go lower first. I saw something on my news today that some big hedge fund guy was predicting 25,000 and then it'll go to 100,000. And I'm like, okay, so there's no level at 25,000. So technically this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. You guys want to know where Bitcoin's going now that we're in full retracement move? Okay, so 44 is the first line. If we break 44, Where are we going next? What's the next line? Because now you're in a sustained down. The uptrend's over. You're now in a sustained downtrend. So if we break, and this is what if you're asking me if I think we're going to break 44, no clue. No clue. You know, there's a lot of reasons why Bitcoin's rising, and it's, you know, the reasons that it's rising are not simple crash reasons. Like, a lot of people are assuming Bitcoin's going to crash, and it's not, because that's not why it's rising in the first place. It's rising because really, really rich people are pouring money into it, and not a little bit of money. They're pouring billions of dollars into it. So for the price to go down, those same rich people who are buying this up as a long-term investment would need to short-term sell it, which they're not doing. So the only sort of, in fact, from what I understand, institutional buying's, you know, is picking up even more. But what we're going to see over the next coming months, Bitcoin, now that it's no longer in the uptrend, we're going to see a sustained consolidation up and down and up and down. And then you're going to have a huge surge from that. And it will happen. I promise you. There's too much money going into it. This is insane. Look at this. This is insane. You see this volume down here? This is madness. You got a little bit of sell volume, and you got a big sell block like that. That's a classic topping tail. That's a classic topping tail right there in the candlestick charting. That is a class, and that's on the long term. Each one of these bars represents an entire month's worth of price movement. And look at how high this RSI got. I mean, that's just insane. I think the RSI on the short term peaked at, like, I want to say 95. I don't think I've ever seen, 95. 95.0712. I don't think I've ever seen that kind of momentum strength. I don't think I've ever. This is historic. People ask about this. You know, I get a lot of questions. I was buying back here. I was buying a year ago. I have over a coin. I've been buying. I should have bought a long time ago. I knew about Bitcoin. Bitcoin was on my radar a long, long time ago, and I almost started mining it. But we could get a bounce here. Nothing would surprise me with this. You could have someone like Elon Musk buy, and boom, it's going higher. All right. I got one more request for chart of the day. Ooh wee! Look at this thing. What is that? That is a pennant, my friend. Oh, that's a falling knife. That's exactly what you don't try and catch. I would not touch this. Now, when would I touch this is the real question. When would I touch this? When Harry meets Sally is when I would touch this. First off, let's look at the max on this thing. Oh, I did calculate this out. Look at that thing. Yeah, if this thing breaks out, that is some big volume. Look at that volume. That is some big volume. I want to know what the short float is on this. Gotta look and see what my buddy, So this is a lot of volume. Like, technically, if this breaks out, it's going to, just based on this like crude, because what was this up? 140? That was off government subsidies. I don't know what this volume is, though. This is insane. 200 million. Let's look at it on a shorter time frame. And then you got a lot of sell volume. It's coming right back down. Hive 3. I mean, technically, this thing can go up until it's, it can go higher. You got a big gap here. You're gonna find support here. People, where are you gonna find support? You're gonna find support here. So this thing will probably continue to fall down until that's a crooked line. There you go. Straight lines matter. Why? Because you gapped here. Now you've crushed this gap, dude. You're going so much lower on that. This is a risk play. My friends love these penny stocks, these things. Yeah, you can make some money on them, but if I wanted to make a reasonable bet at a bounce, it would be at this. This was where I would stake it until it hits this. It's going to hit this line, right? Because you're now in a sustain. And there's nothing else here. I don't see anything else here. Well, you could calculate a. Yeah, you're already through that line. See, that's your fib extension or your retracement. You're through the line, so it's going all the way. So your next resistance is here, and then you got another one right below it at 68, which is the gap essentially. Don't play it till it hits 87. You could bounce because this is what formation is this for the guys that are watching? Then this is not like, oh, this stock's not crashing. I want to make that clear. This stock is not crashing. It's in a period of consolidation, and it's forming what? If we draw a line and connect the highs and the lows, it's forming what looks like a pennant flag. They call these pennants a wedge. There's a million different names for these. And usually now if they break this, then that's that. I would not buy into this. If it breaks this is kind of, but this is where you'll expect to bounce here. And if you get a lot of volume, it could go much, much higher. I mean, this is like that Tilray play that we did. Let's do the max. That extension I drew, I mean, and this is why people want to know why this thing going to 33 from $1 if it breaks that. Because the way technical analysis works is previous price action has consideration for future price action. So if the maximum range of this stock traded from 0 to up to 140 and it's currently at $1, that means there's a lot of meat left on that bone for it to go in this direction, and there's not a lot of meat left on this bone going this way. So that's why even a minor breakout on this sends it to 30. You know, it's a blip. It's a minor blip, and it doesn't take. This is insane. And why the guys I trade with, we look for high volume. And why do we look for high volume? Because high volume, prices can't swing hard up or down without big volume. They can't swing really hard high up or down on low volume. They can drop on low volume. They're not going to break out on low volume. So that's the market recap. Markets look terrible. Don't buy SIRC until it goes. What did we say? Let's look at the level. I'll give you the level. Bing, 81 cents. If you're gonna buy it, I don't recommend you buy it. SPY certainly looks like it's going lower, but it could get another Fed injection. Nothing would surprise me. Big volume on Monday through, or big volume bouncing up. We shall see.
Enough blood to fill up a pump. I told Hammers, nigga, no two.